Have you ever noticed how stopping isn't always a choice? Sometimes life stops you, your body stops you, your mind freezes like someone pulled the emergency brake mid-journey, and the worst part, you judge yourself for it. You say, why can't I just keep going? Why am I stuck again? But here's something no one teaches you. We don't stop because we're weak. We stop because something inside is misaligned and refusing to drag us any further in the wrong direction. Stuckness isn't failure, it's feedback. So today I want to help you understand the psychology of stopping, the kind that feels like you've lost your spark, your flow, your rhythm. And then, more importantly, how to build real endurance, the kind that doesn't burn you out but brings you home. Stopping doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's subtle. A sigh you ignore, tightness in your chest you power through, a habit that creeps back in like it owns the place. Stuckness shows up in behaviour long before it shows up in crisis, and it looks like starting something with fire, then watching the fire die, meaning to change, but your feet won't move. Sitting with a decision for weeks, but never choosing. Feeling overwhelmed by tiny things. Reacting sharply when you're normally calm. It also shows up in the body. The gut tightens, the breath shortens, the shoulders rise, the jaw becomes a vice, and a quiet voice or thought form says, I can't go that way anymore. And here's the detective question worth asking. When did that stuckness begin? Not the date, the moment, the conversation, the disappointment, the belief, the situation that quietly said, stop, this isn't working anymore. Most people don't stop because they're lazy. They stop because they're going in the wrong direction and pushing themselves in a way that betrays something they deeply value. Stopping is the nervous system saying, before we continue, I need the truth. Endurance isn't pushing harder. It isn't powering through or pretending you're fine when your insides are waving a tiny white flag. Endurance, real endurance, is the ability to stay connected to yourself while moving through the world. So let's play detective. What part of you keeps stopping and what is it trying to protect? Is it your energy, your dignity, your sanity, your values? Are you carrying something that isn't yours anymore? A story you outgrew? A responsibility you were never meant to hold? A version of yourself that you've already evolved past? Is your lack of motivation actually a lack of meaning? People don't burn out because they're weak. They burn out because they're disconnected. What rhythm does your body want? Not society, not peer group, not culture, you. Some people move in steady pulses. Some people move in waves. Some people move like jazz, unpredictable but true. Where can you create micro movement without force? One honest movement, one clear choice, one simple action that says, I'm still in this, but on my terms. Endurance isn't the grind. Endurance is the alignment that makes movement possible. It's not, I must keep going. It is, I can continue because this path supports who I'm becoming. Imagine the shoreline at dawn. The tide moves in, the tide moves out, and nothing in nature panics. The ocean doesn't apologize for retreating. It doesn't shame itself for pulling back. It simply follows its natural rhythm, the ancient intelligence of flow. Now imagine your emotional life as that tide. There are moments you surge, full of energy, ideas, clarity, and momentum. And there are moments when you pull back to rest, to sense, to recalibrate, to see what needs to be realigned. The problem isn't the retreat. The problem is when you judge the retreat as failure instead of a phase. No tide gets stuck forever. No wave refuses to return. So next time you find yourself stopping, ask yourself, am I broken or am I between tides? Because endurance isn't constant motion. Endurance is the confidence that you will return. Here's the reframe most people never hear. Stopping doesn't mean you've failed. Stopping often means you finally started listening. Your system hits pause, not to punish you, but to redirect you. Sometimes the most courageous thing you can do is stop long enough to hear what's actually true. So this week your experiment is simple. Find one place where you've been forcing yourself forward out of habit or fear or old identity. And instead of pushing, pause. Give yourself 2 minutes, 5 minutes, a day, whatever you need not to collapse, not to abandon your goal, but to reconnect with the part of yourself that already knows the way forward. Because endurance isn't built by ignoring yourself, it's built by staying with yourself. Endurance is continuing because the movement feels honest, not because you bullied yourself into it. And as you breathe now, you might begin to feel the quiet rhythm beneath everything, the rise and fall, the movement and stillness. Each inhale, a return. Each exhale, a release. No forcing, no gripping, just flow. The tide within you has never disappeared. It only needed space to be felt again. So maybe tonight, as you settle into rest, a part of you remembers the truth you came in with. You are not stuck, you are between tides. And the moment you are ready, movement will return, gently, naturally, without force. And perhaps as you drift into sleep, a small voice inside smiles and whispers, I know how to take care of my needs.